Okay, this is a new segment to our podcast. This is the Heartificial boxing show. This is episode 1. Pretty much, long story short, we're going to film study a fight for you. Tonight, the first one that we're doing is Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. And pretty much right now, we're going to give our predictions, what's going to happen, a little bit of like pre-fight analysis, on their previous fights. And then tomorrow, after the fight has happened tonight, we'll sit down and see if our predictions were right, break it down a little bit further.
Yeah, so as of today, it's Saturday at like 3:30 approximately, and they're fighting at 1:30 a.m., which is early
UK
hour
time.
Sunday morning. So, yeah.
So where should we begin with this?
So, start off with, I know a little bit about Dalton Smith because being a good amateur boxer, as a kid, we sparred each other once or twice. So, yeah, I'm quite familiar with what his style's like. I've experienced it firsthand, basically, and people tend to not change that much over time. Do you know what I mean? They keep the same basic fundamental kind of shell, but maybe add one or two things to their game. So we can start off with, say, what Dalton Smith's kind of weaknesses and strengths and whatever else are at the moment. He's an undefeated fighter, I believe. He's had a decent amount of experience in the ring at this point as a pro. He's fought a good amount of opposition and at a decent level as well. But I don't think he's ever fought anybody at Subriel Matias' level. So this is the biggest test of his career by far, in my opinion. Dalton Smith is a very good amateur boxer turned pro. He's got a really good style. His style is pretty much counterpunching for the most part. He's got a lot of power. He's had that as a kid, and yeah, he can do pretty much everything. He can fight it on the inside. He can fight on the outside. He likes to bait people in, take a couple of shots and give them a big counter punch. Basically, he likes to set traps with his boxing. That's how he predominantly boxes. He's got decent footwork. Yeah, like I said, he can fight inside, he can fight outside, he can do pretty much everything. So on paper, he should win, but Subriel Matias' style is very hard to deal with.
There's not many people who fight like him, is there?
Yeah, I was going to say, there's
very unique.
Yeah, he's got an old school style of, I'm going to walk you down. I'm going to basically put you in deep waters and keep you there until you drown. So he likes to fight at mid-range, mid to short range. He bursts in combinations. He punches while you punch at the same time, as well as forcing you to stay in these high-risk exchanges, basically. Doesn't he?
Yeah. Biggest thing that he does as well, Matias, is he doesn't turn a lot of his punches over. A lot of his punches are arm punches. They're short, sharp punches. Don't have loads of power in, but it's just very fast. And the plan isn't to knock you out. It's to wear you down over 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds. Just 100%. Like you said, put you in the deep waters and drown you. It's just like relentless pressure. So it's lost my trail of thought.
It's a clash of styles, to the point where you have a counter puncher. Dalton Smith's quite slick. He likes to box. He likes to look good while he's boxing. Like I said, he'll set you up with things and then slip, counter, big overhand right, very good to the body, things like that.
Yeah. So the thing with that is Matias isn't going to give him the space to set something up. He's just constantly walking forward.
He literally walks you down. So
I was going to say, it's like when you were younger, you throw like your Xbox controller on the floor and the stick stays flicked up and your character just keeps walking in a straight line, on the screen. That's what he fights like. It's just non-stop.
Pretty much. And to expand on the point that you made before about him throwing a lot of arm punches, the reason why Subriel's style works is because he walks you down, but he doesn't throw everything into every shot. He throws arm punches, but them arm punches are hard to see because he doesn't telegraph them. He doesn't swing his arm back and then throw a shot. He just bang, 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 bang. Very short, sharp. He uses his core to kind of generate power, and his shoulders to generate power, more so than using his legs
and his hips.
And his hips. Yeah, he doesn't use his legs and his hips much. It's all core and shoulders. Whereas Dalton Smith is the opposite. He will use his lower body to slip or roll and then throw a big counter punch. So, like I said, it's a bit of a clash of styles. You've got a guy who's just going to try and basically break you down systematically with, I'm going to set you up with things, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be slick, I'm going to move on the edge of the ropes and try and kind of make you chase me and get frustrated, fall in with your shots and then catch you on the counter. And then you got the other person who is basically, it's the war of attrition. It's, I'm going to grind you down slowly and I'm just going to be like a zombie and keep walking at you until you basically...
Yeah, until the bell goes and the fight's done, sort of thing.
Until you basically lose your own gas tank trying to keep me off you, and then I've got you then, you know what I mean? So Subriel's tactics early on in the fight, what he likes to do is hands nice and tight, he just walks you down and just takes most of your punches.
Doesn't even hardly throws anything, does he, the first couple?
The first couple of rounds he doesn't throw much, he just basically wants to see what you've got, what level of power that you're at. And listen, that's a good place for Dalton Smith to basically assert himself, to try and let him know, okay, listen, I've got power too, I can hurt you. I'm going to put you on the ropes. I'm going to back you up and do what I want to do, you know, as opposed to this is going to be you just walking at me the whole fight. And then Subriel starts to, once he's made his reads, he starts to use his jab a little bit more, starts to throw a little bit more shots, starts to engage a little bit more, and then he starts to get into his style of fight after maybe round 3, round 4. Dalton Smith, if he's going to win this fight, is going to have to basically get into his bag of tricks and use every single trick that he has. So he's going to have to dance around.
Well, if his camp, his coaches and himself have been smart enough in preparing for this, they should have watched, is it Parro? His name,
Yeah,
Liam
Parro's the last opponent that beat Subriel Matias. So Subriel's lost twice. He lost to Petros Anayan.
Or Amayan or something like that.
Yeah, but then he actually avenged that loss a couple of fights later, and then he recently, maybe 4 fights ago actually, lost to Liam Parro. So the Liam Parro tactic, so Liam Parro's tactic was basically to not brawl with the brawler, to outboxing. So the way Liam Parro beat him, this is Subriel, the way he beat Subriel was, okay, I'm going to be on the outside, I'm not going to be a stationary target for you to walk me down, put me onto the ropes and put all the pressure on me. I'm going to engage first, so I need to attack first, and then when it's your turn to counter me, smother, clinch, push off.
But he was boxing on his terms.
Or exit. I'm going to throw my shots. I ain't going to give you a chance to counter me. I'm on my bike. See you later. So this is what Dalton Smith is going to have to do. But it's a very hard tactic because you have to do that for the whole 12 rounds. So you're going to have to be very, very fit to keep somebody like a Subriel Matias off you for 12 rounds, basically, you know?
Yeah. Like you were saying, when he fought Parro, the way Parro won was, like I said, boxing on his terms. He's either at long range, picking him off with punches, and because Matias just wants to walk him down into close range, it's either completely long range or short enough range where they're in a clinch. It's just that rinse and repeat. Keep him away. If he starts to get too close, straight into a clinch, non-stop. And then he used a lot of frames as well. Matias is just most of the time it's like an inactive high guard, isn't it? Just walking you down.
Basically.
So he gets punches around the guard. As soon as he gets close, post or frame his guard, move off, change the angle, make Matias turn around and reset.
Yeah. So Sabrail's best range is that mid to short range. So he's not very good when you keep things long range with him, and he's not very good when you go into that clinch range. So this is where Liam Parrow beat him, because he was using a cross arm frame to cover both of his gloves. Because if you've got your gloves like this on top of your head,
And
it's very easy to cover both sides. You can hit the body,
yeah,
things like that. You know what I mean?
we should point out Liam Parrow is southpaw and Matias is orthodox. So as Parrow's in the southpaw stance and he's stepping off to his lead side, he's posting Matias's lead glove as well, because they're in an open stance sort of match up, constantly just keeping his lead hand occupied so he can't even begin to set up punches.
And that's how most people start their combinations, with a lead hand, with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the shots are going to be afterwards. You know what I mean? If you can't start off, and like I said, if he's framing and going towards his lead side, Sabrail's backhand is not very active. It's not very effective in that side.
It wouldn't land anyway, but especially him, because he doesn't turn his punches over. He doesn't get the full range of sort of motion, does he? In that sort of through his punches.
So that's what, like I said, that's what you'd have to do if you're going to fight a Sabrail Matias. Keep it super long distance, get into range, throw your shots, and then clinch, smother, use your frames to push him off to the side, knock him off balance, or just use underhooks and just nullify his offense by grabbing his hands and waiting for the referee to come in. So this is a little point, sorry, before you move on to the next point. What the referee does when they get into clinches, if he's going to allow Dalton Smith to get into clinches frequently, things like this are going to play a big part in the fight as well, you know. Because if he doesn't, then that's going to play in Sabrail Matias' hands, basically. And if he's constantly breaking them up as soon as they get too close to each other, that's going to be quite hard for Dalton Smith to win this fight.
Or advance the clinch.
Clinch, yeah, for sure, exactly. So that's where you've got to have your wrestling tactics, you know, be a little bit mixed martial artsy. This is why somebody like an Alexander Usyk still wrestling trains at...
And Crawford.
Yeah, at the high level. Because when they're fighting bigger guys, like Crawford fought Canelo, Usyk's a natural cruiserweight fighting heavyweight, you need to be able to get these underhooks. You need to be able to control the frame of your opponent and stop them attacking, you know. So that's what wrestling is very good for. So obviously, if Dalton Smith's team have done their homework, then they're going to go and use all of these tactics. They're going to use the advanced footwork, very similar to a Sugar Ray Leonard-esque, you know. Don't just be galloping to one side or the other. Use feints, shuffle steps. Do you know what I mean? Don't let him set, because Sabrail's like a tank. It takes a tank a long time to kind of calibrate to his target. Do you know what I mean? The turning head thing, like the big fucking cannon at the top, takes ages to move.
Sounds like a boat.
So Sabrail is going to be like this, and Dalton Smith's going to have to be ding, 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 like a pinball around the ropes if he's going to use his advanced footwork, you know. And then as soon as he settles himself, he's going to throw a flurry of shots, clinch game. So we should be studying Sugar Ray Leonard, because look at Sugar Ray Leonard when he fought
Hagler.
People like Hearns, people like Roberto Duran, who is very good on the inside fight game, you know what I mean? He's going to be dancing around, not being a stationary target, set his feet, throw the things that he wants to throw, I get to throw, and then you don't get to throw, sir. Sorry. So that's the tactics.
I was going to say before, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Dalton Smith switch stances as well?
He does, and he has done for a long time as a kid as well. So that's something that he's going to have to use. That's
So
something that he's going to have to use. He's going to have to take Liam Perrow's fight as a framework for his fight, and maybe box a little bit more southpaw than he does orthodox. You know what I mean? Something for him to think about. Definitely, his team should be aware of that and be working on that. Because if he's constantly exiting to his right side, to his lead side as a southpaw and framing at the same time, it's going to make it quite hard for Sabrel to set himself and then throw the shots that he wants to throw in that mid to short range, you know.
The thing I was going to touch on was Dalton Smith spends a lot of time on the ropes, doesn't he? You know, in like a close range.
Because he's
scrap.
a natural counter puncher. That's what he likes to do. He likes to bait people in.
So that just automatically is not going to win him a fight, is it? It's going to get him in trouble.
Against Sabrel especially, because what Dalton Smith, a little habit that he has is he likes to wait for you to throw first and then slip counter, pull counter, etc., etc. What he doesn't do, which Liam Perrow did, that won him the fight, is I'm throwing first, then I'm shutting you down and I'm not letting you throw. You know what I mean? So if he lets Sabrel throw first, he's going to get that slip counter off maybe.
Yeah. But then Matias just keeps coming.
Matias is going to go again and then go again and then go again, and then they're going to be stuck into a 50-50, and then
it's not his game.
It's not his game.
At that range.
That's Sabrel Matias' world that you're fighting in, you know what I mean? And he's a lot more effective at that because he's been doing it his whole career. You know what I mean? This is Dalton Smith going against what he's naturally good at, you know what I mean? And that takes more energy out of you than usual because that's not what you're used to doing, you know? So, yeah.
Should leave it there, give predictions.
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
go on. You go first, right?
I'll predict Matias to win. I reckon it's going to be a stoppage, maybe like round 9. Ooh. That's my prediction.
Nice. I think it's going to be a close fight. I reckon it will go all 12. I'm going to edge it to Sabrel Matias by a couple of rounds, but it will be close. Again, the judges will play a role in this. The judges might, again, that fucking Eddie Hearn backhander matchroom boxing
for this, like,
could work. Do you know what I'm saying? And they might edge it to Dalton Smith. It might be a draw. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like the actual judging, but if you're looking like at it from a neutral standpoint, like we're judging it at home, then I'll probably end up giving a Sabrel the edge by maybe 2 rounds, 3 rounds, something like that, because it's his world. All Sabrel has to do is turn up and beat him. What Dalton Smith has to do is be the fittest, best version of himself and use all of his bags.
Because Matias has seen that sort of thing before, whereas Smith has never seen a Matias before.
For sure.
It's new territory for him.
Yeah, so like I said, Dalton Smith's going to have to be at his best and use his full bag of tricks and be fit as fuck to win. So that's a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
Sabrel if he just turns up, he's going to do what he's going to do anyway. He's just going to fucking walk at you like a zombie for 12 rounds. Not get hurt, because fucking nobody's hurt him so far in his career.
It's good to point out as well, he's got a body, doesn't he? Matias, he's killed someone.
He's horrible. He's horrible.
Yeah, one of his opponents died. It's just like we said, it's just relentless, non-stop brain damage from him.
And he doesn't care where he hits you. He'll hit your arms. He'll hit the back of your head. He'll hit whatever the fuck he can hit. You know what I'm saying? He's just horrible that way. But that's not to say Dalton Smith can win, but he's got to be at his best. So if I was putting money on it,
I'd go Matias.
I'd go Matias too, by a small margin though. For me, I don't think he'll knock Dalton Smith out, because Dalton Smith's a very tough lad. He's a very strong lad. He's a very tough lad. And I don't see Dalton Smith getting knocked out. That's just my prediction, though.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
And then we'll come back
like we said,
tomorrow and analyse what actually happened.
Put these pieces together, but like I said, you're not going to get better film study on this fight, especially if you've sparred him Well, we've got
Yeah.
y-
I've been
having
in.
you-
I've been in with Dalton Smith.
Do
Do you know what I
I
mean?
mean?
I've done a few rounds with him, so
Yeah,
I know what he's like.
because of you having that experience, that automatically, is going to make it much more valuable for people to listen to. When the fight happens tonight, we watch it tomorrow, analyse, see if we were right. Hopefully that translates quite well.
For sure.
I'll leave it at that. See you in the next section. Round number 1.
Yeah.
Go over there quickly, but
We saw
yeah.
basically.
So
First thing that I noticed was Dalton comes out, non-committal jab, just touching the gloves. Then he straight backhand down the pipe, splitting the garden. So basically making sure that his backhand was landing on the inside of Sabrel's lead hand. Then he threw backhand to the body. Then he threw overhand right. So he's just giving him 3 variations of his backhand. So obviously that's going to make Sabrel think, shit, okay, which one's coming next? Do you know what I mean?
given a few looks at once.
Basically, do you know what I mean? Just not doing the same things over and over and being like, I can touch you here, I can touch you down there, I can touch you around the guard. And Sabrel has quite a conventional, lazy, kind of high guard, do you know what I mean? He just keeps his hands up like this.
It's not active.
It's quite easy to come around that, you know what I mean? Or split that in the middle.
It's not like it's not like a winky right. Constantly shuffling his hands or turning his gloves to catch different shots. It's just they're like glued to his head.
Basically, yeah. So, yeah, that was the first thing I noticed. Right, he did all that in the first 30 seconds.
But he's got quite a lazy lead hand at that point. It's Matias. It's not high. I know it's not fully low. It's just sort of quite lazy, sat below shoulder height.
Mm-hmm.
So quite easy for him to get caught with that shot there. He timed it well.
Yeah. So, like I said, just give him a variety of looks straight away off the bat. Being like, listen, I ain't going to just do the same shit all the time. I'm going to keep you guessing. So, yeah. After that, I would say, once he was busy and he did his shots, this is what we said in the pre-fight analysis that he'd have to do to win, is punch. So I get to punch and then frame off and you don't get to punch back. Do you know what I mean? So try and get rid of Sabrel's counter-punching opportunities, basically, which he did really well this round as well, to be fair.
And going left and right. Mixed going left and right.
For sure. So he was doing his galloping off to the right, with space, with distance, which basically stops Sabrel being able to throw his right hand, because if you're going to the right, then you have to loop it all the way over, and obviously that's not ideal.
Saying about film study, Matias always throws his lead hand, or mostly just a lazy jab, sort of, to set his punches up.
For sure. And,
so by circling to, as he's in orthodox, circling to his lead side, he's going towards Matias's right hand, which, if you've watched the film study, he doesn't throw his right hand in the first few rounds.
Anyway, yeah. So, which was nice. Obviously his team have done enough studying to know that you can circle to the left in the first few rounds because he's not going to throw his backhand, basically. Mm-hmm. Another thing that he did really nicely was basically let Matias know that anytime that you are going to throw that jab, I've got a counter waiting. Yeah. I'm going to pull counter.
There's an answer to come back.
I'm going to slip counter. I'm going to pull counter. I'm just going to be ready to punish you every single time you miss, basically. So, yeah, that's another thing that Dalton Smith did really, really nicely in the first round as well, is he switched stances, even for, it was only for 10, 15, not even 10 seconds, I would say. Switched stances, gave him a little look, gave him a southpaw jab to feel, and then as soon as he tries to close the distance, he did exactly what Liam Perro did when Liam Perro beat Matias, and he got his foot on the outside, he got his hands on the outside, he framed, and he pivoted off to the southpaw lead side. He grabbed his elbow, and hooked it and twisted him. Yeah, like pivot in almost. Basically, yeah. So that was really nice as well. Step and pivot in. So overall, really, Dalton Smith did loads of things in this first round that probably made Matias think, okay, I'm in with somebody who's very good here, because he's giving me a variety of shots. He's going both ways with his feet, and he can switch orthodox and southpaw. So very, very nice first round.
A few different frames and controls, mixing everything up.
Yeah, just not being there for the counters, basically. Okay, round 2.
What would we pick out first from all that?
So first thing that I noticed was obviously Sabrel didn't particularly like the first round, so he decided to up the ante a little bit faster than what he normally would. Normally, if he knows that you're not on a really high level, he'll give you 2 or 3 rounds to kind of weigh yourself out and give you a false sense of security. In this,
he came out a little bit urgent.
He came out a bit more urgent in this round, exactly, because he probably thought, okay, I'm in with somebody who's very good here. He's just done a variety of things to me in round 1. So go on then, let's push the pace a little bit, make it a lot more uncomfortable for Dalton and see if he can swim in deep waters, which, to be fair, Dalton Smith did do quite well in this round, although he got caught quite a bit.
He stayed composed still.
He did, he stayed very composed. Only little, again, nitpicking, kind of flaw that I would say that Dalton had in this round was when he would initiate into the inside range. Sometimes he would lean in with his hands up and his head forward, instead of squatting and pushing his hips in. Do you know what I mean? So when you push your hips in, you're a lot more secure, and then
got a stronger base.
You got a stronger wrestling base, basically, to be able to manipulate your opponent. Sometimes when you're like this and you put your head in front of you or over your knee a little bit too much, then it's easy for somebody, and this is what Sabrel should have done a bit more, is use his lead hand and
more physical,
and been more physical in that mid-range, in that close range, and put his head down and made it a lot more uncomfortable for Dalton. But I didn't really see him do that in this round, to be fair. So yeah, fair play to Dalton Smith. He had a little wall.
I swear we said about that in the pre-fight about how he doesn't advance the clinch.
Who, Sabrel?
Yeah,
he doesn't advance the clinch. He just likes to have a 50-50 in the clinch. And
sort of like punches way out. There's no advancements in underhooks or overhooks or hand position sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Smith got lucky in that respect.
To an extent, but also he did the right thing. He actually advanced the clinch a lot more than Sabrel did. I seen him get a few underhooks in this round.
Tie his arms up,
things like that.
Head under his
head,
into his neck.
Head, yeah, exactly. Trying to put his head in a good position. Head on the chest, head underneath the neck. Things like that to keep you safe, because obviously as soon as you clinch with Sabrel, he's going to want to throw loads of short kind of arm punches to kind of fluster you, So yeah, it was a very good round overall, to be fair. It was quite fun to watch.
As well, surely we've got a 2-0 Smith so far.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, even though it was a closer round, the second round was a lot closer than the first, because to be fair, Dalton did get touched up this round a little bit, but he did quite well as well himself. So yeah, good round.
Counter overhand was, I think, because Matias was throwing too many mid-range jabs, so Smith has got his timing quite quickly, I'm pretty sure.
And he was countering that mid-range jab the whole time, really, yeah.
Because I think the last backhand he threw in that sequence in the first round was that looping overhand. He just threw the same punch there. As Matias was stepping in mid-range, just throwing loads of jabs, just easy to come over the looping right hand.
And what he's doing quite nicely is he's stowing that right hand, but then he's using it as a frame to push him off to his left, so he can escape to the right and get away from Matias's right hand, basically.
Blending attack and defence at the same time.
100%. That's what you should be doing. Very good job again by Smith. Okay, so round 3. What a round, by the way.
Yeah, key takeaways. We both said we gave that to Matias straight away.
So first 2 rounds, defo to Dalton.
Yeah.
Third round to Matias, I would say. He came out a lot more urgent. He came out with a little bit more power in his shots as well, to try and, because he's probably thought, right, this is a good kid. This is actually a test now. I need to fucking get stuck in and start drowning in with my style of pressure straight away, which he tried to do this round, and he pretty much did successfully, didn't he?
I think the biggest thing why he won this round was he started to frame Smith.
Defo, that was a main
He
adjustment.
was controlling Smith, not, Smith was controlling him the first 2 rounds, whereas he started framing, posting, punching off his frames as well.
That was the main kind of adjustment
He
for
made
Subriel.
a lot of times he made Smith break his base. You'd see Smith would be leaning too far over his lead knee, or as he'd throw his right hand, he'd bring his right foot with him and end up square.
He was doing that though because of Matias. Matias was making him make these mistakes. That's what happens when you're in a high pressure situation, high pressure fight. It's hard to think when the pace is so high, basically. So because Matias put that pace on him in this round, and
Exposed him a bit.
Yeah, exposed him a little bit, and he was using the frames really well as well. That was a key adjustment, putting his arm basically into Smith's neck, things like that,
pushing him down.
That was
It's draining as well.
Yeah,
when you've got someone constantly on your neck, or your head's getting pushed all over the place.
The way the head goes, the body follows.
Do you know what I mean? You get tired so easily.
You do, yeah, for sure. So I would say that was the main adjustment of this round, and that's basically what won the round for Subriel Matias. Okay, round 4. I would give that round to Matias again.
Same.
To be fair, because he just
two each now.
He just basically did the same thing as he did in the previous round. He just put that pressure on. Dalton was looking a little bit more tired.
He switched off mentally that round.
He was looking a bit more tired, and this is why we predicted yesterday that he'd lose pretty much, because when somebody's fighting at this pace and they're not used to it, then they end up making more mistakes than usual. So in this round, Dalton, he fell in a little bit more with his head. He was getting into that close range and not tying Matias up, basically.
A few times
He wasn't being physical enough.
His head was over his lead knee, and he had his arms down. Just taking punches for no reason. Just switching off completely, not defensively responsible.
Basically. So
I mean, round 3, Smith was pushing him back a bit more, even though we gave the round to Matias.
And that kind of saved Smith, because usually Subriel is the one who's pushing you back. But to be fair to Dalton, because he was still fresh or fresher than this round, he was still pushing Matias back.
This round he was getting bullied a bit, wasn't he?
He was getting pushed back a lot more, so it was a little bit more of a one-sided round.
The other thing we picked up on is Matias is biting on that right-hand counter now.
He was putting his lead hand up up here, because he doesn't want to get caught with them overhands constantly.
Checking his timing a bit more. It wasn't like a subtle, just the top of the head. He was fully lifting, exposing his body, wasn't he? He doesn't like that counter.
Yeah.
But I said that, didn't I? A couple of rounds ago, he started to get the timing of that mid-range jab. That's why he's starting to check.
And also, when you get hit on the top of the head, it's not. It doesn't feel nice. Basically, that was the round in summary, pretty much. What I would say also is Subriel has lovely shot selection on the inside. He knows how to throw his shots very short. Even when you've got your head very close to his chest, he can still throw shots from there, you know what I mean?
We were saying about them skimming shots, weren't we?
The skimming.
Perfect sort of like angle. It's not like a hook to the body where you come around to try hit the liver. You like skim it across the front of your stomach.
A lot of people don't work on the inside fight game enough, especially like, say, an easy example, standing very close to the bag and throwing really short shots. Obviously Subriel does, because that's what his game's basically based around. So a lot of people, when they get into that situation, they still throw a full range shot and end up missing or hitting the back or hitting the back of the head or stuff like that. Subriel's very good at finding the target, even if you're really close to it.
Turning his hand at the right time and basically, not looping his elbow out too much.
Yeah.
Mad round that. I didn't expect it to finish like that.
5th and final round. Yeah. I mean, crazy. Started off, they just basically picked up back where they left off on round 4 and just went straight back into 50-50 with each other.
Smith was caught no man's land again, wasn't he?
He was,
Quite a lot.
but the first maybe 30 seconds of the round, he was sharp because obviously he's got a minute to recover. He came out, looked quite good. He did use a couple of frames as well when he needed to. But then as the round went on, then again, this is a Sabrel's type of fight. So he put that pressure on Smith again, and then Smith started making them little mistakes by falling in, by standing in no man or sitting in no man's land and not having kind of any defensive responsibility.
He was getting caught with them sort of like weird, short uppercut jab sort of thing, wasn't he? Like he wasn't turning his uppercut over just from his high guard. He was throwing tiny little like
Shots like that, yeah, for sure.
no, to get through Smith's guard if he's close. It's like inactive from like that position. He's throwing punches up, not turning it over so it fits through. You know, the gap between his gloves.
Basically, it splits the guard, yeah.
That's the word.
And then what ends up happening is Sabrel gets lazy. He engages in a 50-50 with his lead hand down here. The round before that, he was worried about that overhand right, so he was checking his timing. This round, he gets into a 50-50, stands here, gets a little bit too macho, gets caught with two very flush, clean overhands that basically rock his boots a little bit.
Lost him the fight just being defensively
Irresponsible. Literally, that lost him the fight.
Walking into range with your lead hand low.
And this is why we train the way we train and we coach the way we coach, where as soon as that clock is on, you are being held accountable for every single mistake that you make in that boxing ring. Combat sports and maybe I would say Formula One are the only two sports where when that clock is on, you've got to be 1000% engaged the whole time. If you are not engaged, then it can be lights out very easy, too quick overhand rights, and then that changes the whole course of the fight. Or you could be in a Formula One car and split second, not be concentrated, crash into a wall and fucking kill yourself basically, do you know what I mean? But that's the dangers of these type of sports, you know what I mean? That's why combat sports for us is the highest, it's the truest kind of essence of war, of kind of play, but play seriously, do you know what I mean? You have to play this game very, very seriously. So Matias just got lazy. He got caught with two flush overhands that rocked him.
It's good.
And he tried to be macho, and just go, yeah, come right then, let's go. While he's doing that, Smith's lining up the third one. The third one catches him flush.
Smith's in position, in guard, ready to throw. Matias is stepping into range with his hands down, especially his lead hand. But now I was going to say it's good to notice, like, this is a world title fight. He's got knocked out for a stupid mistake that he shouldn't have. Like, this is high level, and they're making very, very basic mistakes.
Yeah. So when we shout at you and be like, get your fucking lead hand up, and I'm gonna make you drill a circle around the bag, fucking for 10 rounds at a time with your lead hand in this position,
holding like a little 2 kilo hand weight,
and your lead hand is basically breaking off by the fourth round, but you've still got 6 more rounds to do.
This is why.
This is the type of training we do. This is why you have to do this type of training, because you can get into a high pace fight like these two lads have just done. Get lazy a little bit, give your lead hand a bit of a break, bang, 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 you're caught, you're down, your world title's been stripped off you, and you've gone from very high up the rankings to quite low on the rankings straight away. Do you know what I mean? You have to work your way back up, and Lord knows if Sabrel Matias is going to get another chance at a world title fight ever again in his career, because that's how boxing works. It's all politics, it's all business. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So just to kind of finally conclude, okay, so our predictions were wrong. Dalton Smith won. Fair play to him. I made up for him, to be fair. Britain's got a new world champion. So very well done to him and his team. Not to put any kind of damper on his performances, because he was amazing in this fight. Likewise with Sabrel, but I feel like it was a slightly early stoppage, you know. Sabrel didn't do the right thing either. He got up on the 6th count. He shot up instead of maybe getting onto one knee first, collecting his head for 1 or 2 more seconds, and then getting up and standing straight and being basically a lot more stable on the 8 count. He jumped up on the 6 count, wobbled, and then by that time the referee, and rightly so, he was like, right, nah, you're not ready to continue, see you later. But him being a champion and him being the type of fighter that he is, people know how tough he is. I would have, if I was a ref, probably give him the benefit of the doubt and let him kind of go out on a shield and maybe take one more knockdown. If he had to, he might not have, you know what I mean? Smith could have got knocked down because basically that round and the last 2-3 rounds they were just playing you go and I go, you go and I go. So it was a 50-50 of who's going to get hit with a clean shot first and knocked out. So they were basically both gambling, pretty much in my eyes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but yeah, proved us both wrong. Both
Yeah.
predictions
Amazing.
were wrong. So,
But if the fight did carry on the way it went, then as you can see from round kind of 2 onwards, Sabrel was taking over a little bit and starting to drown.
Dominate. Yeah.
Starting to drown.
Like the
Dalton.
especially towards end of the third and the fourth, you see Matias fully dominant. You know, controlling him, not the other way around. And that's pretty much how I think the rest of the fight would have gone.
That's how I think the rest of the
Smith
fight would have gone.
capitalised on his, defensive irresponsibility and got his reward for it.
Amazing.
He was in position, in base, ready to throw. Matias wasn't, and that's why he won. He was just, in that split second, he was switched on more than him.
Like Barry Robinson says, small things, all things. That's what this game is about. It's a game of inches, But yeah, I agree. As you can see from round 3, round 4, and a little bit into round 5, I would say after 30 seconds, 45 seconds of the round, Smith starts to feel the pressure and feel the pace of the rounds, you know what I mean? So that would have just worsened off as the rounds went on. But hey, fair play to him and his team. They absolutely smashed it, guys. Well done.
Well done. This is the first episode of the boxing part of the show. Don't know when we're going to do the next one. Like, obviously we have an episode every week, but with the boxing there's not a good fight on every week to study, so it's going to be inconsistent, this, isn't it?
But obviously when there's a good fight on,
we'll be straight on it.
Try and put it on for you guys and give you our pre-fight analysis and our prediction, and then basically break down each round, what happens, what we think happens, and then take it from there. Do you know what I mean? And see if our predictions were correct.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That'll do us for this one.
Cool.
See you in the next one.
Peace.